Accidentally Jenkins Street. I sat at the bar of a working-class pub in Northcote, Melbourne. My buddy Jimmy finished his kitchen shift. "Do you know of any work going?" I asked. "Not here," Jimmy said. "But I might know of something else. Have you got plans for Saturday?" "No." "We're having a few brews at ours and going to see the Community Cup. A bunch of musos play each other at footy. You'll have a blast. I'll introduce you to someone. He might have work." An hour into the spectacle, I was acquainted with Andrew. He stood at 170 centimeters and was clean-shaven, his hair falling halfway down his ears. He'd recently moved to Melbourne from Nimbin. Jimmy and his brother Mike were helping him out. They required a fourth worker. "What's the job?" "We're building hemp walls. $15 an hour cash. It's not much, but we're all on the same rate. If you can handle repetition, it's interesting work." An architect had designed a sustainable house for a family in the Northcote community. Andrew was hired by a local builder to construct walls. A hemp shipment had been sent to Wagga Wagga, where a container was transported to the Northcote site and emptied by hand. Getting to the location from my Flemington apartment involved a 500-metre walk to the train station, a 7-minute train trip, and a half-hour bus ride 8 kilometres east through morning traffic congestion. As I arrived before 7 a.m, Public Transport Victoria allowed free early bird travel. At 6:50, Andrew was waiting for me in his vehicle. Working hours were scheduled from 7 till 5, as building walls would be a long process and we were bound to hold up other tradies. On site, Andrew started the mixing machine, adding ingredients: 1 part binding powder with hemp chips, 1 part blast furnace slag, 6 parts lime and 4 parts magnesium oxide mixed with water. Once happy with the product, he emptied buckets in the gap behind the formwork. Jimmy, Mike and I rammed and tamped down the mix with upside-down mallets until the content finished, or the formwork had to be removed. The wooden formwork was screwed down around the prospective wall frame, which Andrew erected with care and tenacity, ensuring the walls were plumb. Once removed, we were left with a beautiful wall, fireproof, breathing air yet holding warmth, and smooth to the touch. Listening to Triple R radio, days went fast, the 4 of us discussing life while working in unison. Electricians and plumbers were frustrated as we worked continuously from morning through our lunch breaks until dusk. They could not continue their work until we were finished. 2 weeks into the job, we hadn't received any money. The project manager said it was coming. Then a 3rd and a 4th week elapsed without pay. My flatmate, a childhood friend, covered my rent for the month. "I need the cash real soon." With naivety, I accepted the work under the table. No one would consider hard labour for $15 an hour taxed in Melbourne. The denial of money owed took its toll on us. Andrew's dream was strangled. Jimmy was stressed by his 70-hour work week and didn't have the energy to pursue unpaid wages. My flatmate was losing patience with me. While the architect was getting great press and support, us hammerhands were busting our backs for nothing. The bittersweetness of completing a beautiful, environmentally progressive project was damned by a simple fact: we weren't paid. After nagging Andrew, I called the project manager. "I have bills to pay, man." "Don't we all?" Having completed our last wall, a 17-metre squared corridor bedroom border, the project manager visited us on our final day of cleanup, all smiles and charms. "Look at how wonderful and progressive we are. What a great scheme for Northcote, Melbourne, Victoria and Australia." "You better pay us. I'm going to get kicked out of my apartment." I stood too close to the project manager, showing aggression in front of other workers, a taboo in this progressive trade. Even though we got paid, the relationship with our supervisor was so strained that it meant no more work. This was a dream, to travel around Australia building hemp walls and progressing from there in hemp building. I believed I had found my call to save the earth, but it was not to be. Andrew went back to New South Wales. I rarely saw Jimmy or Mike. I felt good from the physicality of the wall building. I wanted environmentally ethical work. My next job was collecting cardboard from the back of a recycling truck. Another cash in hand position, I was paid less, worked until 2 a.m. and always stank. Rubber tires, kitchen fat residue, melted plastic, wet cardboard, spoiled meat. The industrial factory smell was one absent from the hemp walls. I held no friendships with my co-workers. It's good to have people like you being responsible, a pedestrian told me. I dumped a heavy load of flattened boxes into the back of the vehicle. After driving in this filthy truck, the cardboard is compacted, put on a cargo ship and sent to China or Indonesia. I quit after 2 months. In 2012, I took one short flight, travelled by bicycle and public transport, ate meat once a week, and worked what were labelled as environmentally responsible jobs. I don't recall buying anything new.
These days, my opinion on the planet is often challenged. I'm not certain how much my influence on Earth is causing glaciers to melt and species to disappear. I am certain that as a human, I have my place to live within nature and respect it. We talk about cars and planes. We discuss farming of cows and fish. But rarely do I hear about the environmental impact of construction, primarily concrete. Vocal and respected environmentalists don't mention hempcrete. Throughout my working life, I've done mainly construction jobs. A hammer hand may not be able to build a website, direct a film, work at a law firm, or sing in an opera, but anyone with years of working class experience understands waste more than those for whom they build university offices and private schools. Waste awareness comes from exposure to machinery, international and domestic transportation, used and discarded materials. Steel, insulation, concrete, wood, rubber are only a few examples. Building with hempcrete would immensely cut down this waste. With easy access to mobile phones and smartphones worldwide, the rapidity of construction has increased massively. Yet amidst all this growth, I've noticed little environmental progress. The process of producing hempcrete as rammed earth takes a long time. You can't pour it from a truck like you can with concrete. This slows the labour down, resulting in a loss of work and time, which means a massive increase in cost. A big question is, are those wanting to save the planet prepared to dish out the cash? And which governments are ready to allow and promote the growth of hemp despite its minimal THC content? How much power does the mainstream construction industry have over what we as citizens can and cannot use to build? Are the environmentally progressive youth and adults prepared to put the smartphone down and pick the mallet up? Time will tell. There's information all over the internet regarding the benefits of hemp. It's worth looking up.